Art Commission meeting. Let's take a roll call. Vice Chair Shen,
Present.
Commissioner Waltuck,
Present.
Commissioner Smith,
Present.
Commissioner Stern,
Present.
Commissioner De La Garza.
Present.
Thank you for attending. Are there any agenda changes, additions, or deletions?
There are none.
Thank you, Elise. Any public comments? Nadia?
I don't see any people in attendance or raised hands.
Thank you. Everyone received a copy of the minutes from our special meeting on October 29th. Is there any discussion or can we approve the minutes? Can I get an motion to approve the minutes?
I move.
A second?
A second.
Thank you. Roll call. De La Garza.
Yeah.
Yes. Commissioner Stern,
Approved.
Commissioner Smith,
Approved.
Commissioner Waltuck,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shen,
Yes.
and Chair Gordon, yes. Thank you, everyone. All right. Any city official comments?
We have one really exciting one that comes with some eye candy. We've been a little busy today. So we started our day at the Roth Building. Where so the fence came down. You see the fence there on the right. The protections came down, all the wood protections. You can see there the color panels that have been completely restored. See there it is, all being peeled away. There are some construction panels in front just to sort of keep people at bay right now, but the courtyard is open. You can see them. So the phase one is near completion. So the conservator has to come back on site to do the cut-ins where the wooden protections were, where they couldn't get into them. Clean that piece that is over the door frame. And you can see where the square protections were around the medallions there. So those have to be cut in and painted. There's a little more work to be done. And then we'll get their report and then we need to make a decision about the phase two, which is the lower grisaille panels and those medallions. The grisaille panels were in a very different kind of condition than the upper color panels. And so it was divided into two phases. So we will likely come back with a report out on that in December. But they're visible, so go see.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? I know I should know this. What is going to be the purpose of the building going forward?
The Palo Alto Museum.
It is. So it's just going to be, and artwork is going to be moved back in. It's not just going to be the murals, right? Or is it?
They will have a collection that they will
Okay.
show.
And what's the projected opening?
TBD.
Okay.
I have a question about the grisaille panels. Did those get restored at all? Because they look pretty good.
There was cleaning done. There was testing that was performed. We brought a scientist from Southern California. We consulted with some professionals in Italy who sent over some experimental gels to try and determine what previous treatments had been done and what could be reversed. So we're waiting for the final report, but the results were really mixed. In some places, they're very deteriorated, and in other places, it was really hard to tell how much of the original was there. So we'll come back with a report and put it on the agenda.
Thank you. And those are great questions. Moving on to action items, collection maintenance. Nadia, are you going to inform us of this?
Okay, 1 second, just let the. Yes, okay. Right. So we are excited to bring another maintenance project for one of the beloved murals by Greg Brown. So Greg Brown was just a little bit of background history. Greg Brown, a native Palo Alto artist, was hired by the city in the mid 70s under the city grant to create a series of whimsical fresco murals across downtown area. And so as a result, he painted 9 murals in his Trompe-l'oeil pedestrian series collection. 6 of them are surviving, and they're all part of the city's permanent collection. So as you may recall, a couple of years ago, we worked to restore Boy Fishing mural at the downtown post office. So we continue to work on other Greg Brown's murals. So the artwork that we are talking about today is called Garbage Collector, or also known as Garbage Man. It was painted by the artist in 1977, and it can be found at the corner of Hamilton Avenue and High Street at 136 Hamilton Avenue. So the mural was painted in 1977. Then the city brought the artist back on a few occasions to touch up and repair all of his works. So he was hired by the city back in 1980, 84, 92, and 2002 to repair his works. Sadly, he passed away in 2014, followed by the public art program in year 2016. We worked with a San Francisco-based reputable conservation firm, ARG Art Conservation, to perform a comprehensive condition assessment of all of the murals in the city's collection, including this one. The condition of the artwork back then was deemed as not urgent, and we were advised to continue monitoring the artwork and just reporting back. So the following year in 2017, based on the recommendations from the public art master plan, we actually brought a photographer to create a series of high-res photographs of all of the Greg Brown murals, just thinking about future long-term conservation and also possibly reproduction possibilities. Because this year the mural is turning 47 years old, right? So that's a significant age for a mural. And earlier this year, actually, based on our continuous, observations of the piece, we brought Preservation Arts, another conservation company that we've been working with from like time to time, to do another condition assessment and propose a treatment proposal. So let me talk about some of the findings from by the conservators. So in general, and you have the condition report in front of you here, so just some of the highlights. The mural overall was found in fair overall condition. It exhibits similar condition issues as consistent with other Greg Brown murals. And just to highlight, this work is 47 years old. There is some visible lifting of paint and some areas of paint loss. As you can see in some of the detailed images in the report, there's some significant UV damage to the paint. So based on all of these documented observations, the conservators proposed a comprehensive treatment a treatment project that we would like to have funding approved for today. So the motion would be approval of the allocation of funds in the amount of $9,912 from the maintenance budget for the restoration of the garbage collector by Greg Brown. In terms of the timeline for that treatment, we have to we're in conversation with the property owner. The mural is painted on private properties, so we will just have to understand what timing makes most sense, because we know that they're interested in actually repainting that wall. So we'll have to kind of play with that, and also we're approaching rainy season, so we just need to kind of like be patient selective about the timing and weather conditions. But hopefully we're looking at maybe December, a little bit later this winter. So we'll keep you posted. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, please.
Nadia, thank you for that report. I think everybody knows that Greg Brown is a Palo Alto favorite. So I'm definitely in favor of restoring this mural, but I wanted to ask you, we're in the middle of our budget year, correct? Can you remind us what the allocation we receive is every year from the city of Palo Alto? for
Yes,
maintenance?
absolutely. So it's an annual allocation into our general fund in the amount of $36,000 that we usually just review our maintenance and care plan for that year, and just like try to distribute among just the various needs our growing collection. Yes.
And if our maintenance needs ever go beyond the 36, are we able to use the art fund at all, or do we pretty much stick just with the maintenance?
Go ahead.
So CIP funds can't be used for maintenance projects. So that is part of the reason why the maintenance allocation actually grows slightly each year as we add items to the collection. So we have to be really careful in our planning. And occasionally what we can do is if funds are encumbered in one fiscal year and then have them carry to the next fiscal year. So we're very careful about how we handle those funds, but we do tend to spend them down to the last dime.
Thank you.
Will the mural hold up for new murals affect this in any way? Is that a consideration?
What was that?
The hold up for the painting of new murals, would that play into this?
This is a conservation project.
Understood, yes. Okay, so that
No.
won't, okay.
Do we have any other questions or comments about this Greg
I
Brown
have a
mural?
comment. So I did a little research on Greg Brown, I don't know, a few years ago. What did you say the program was that he was hired to?
Pedestrian series, yeah.
But no, the allocation.
CETA grant program.
What was it, CETA grant?
Yes.
So if I recall correctly, at the time when he painted these, he got like minimum wage per hour to paint them, right? Do you all know this?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, like $3.35 or something per hour. And ironically, here we are 47 years later, and it's $9,000 to restore this painting that costs, probably $100 right, to paint back in the day. I mean, I think it's fine, but it's just an interesting, just a comment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really nice that the city made sure to always hire the artist for any conservation repair needs while he was alive, and every time he was fairly reimbursed. We have records of all of those project transactions. So, but yeah, so it was a work for hire back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Things were done slightly different at now. And in terms of, addressing the costs for the conservation, yeah, it's a highly skilled profession. And
Um, I I have a comment. I think previously we also had a mural restoration, and it was related to, and the timing of it was the wall. I think that was it the one on California Avenue? And then I think the wall was damaged, and we were concerned that if we didn't address it, the weather, the rain would saturate into the wall and it will further damage. And it seems like we have very comparable damages on the wall. So I just want to make sure that I show my support, because I think there's, even though we're doing restoration, I think there's almost a preventive element to it because of the crack. You want to seal it before the major
It
rainy
starts
season.
moving. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, just a small addition here, we are fortunate to be able to work with the same conservation team who we previously worked on for the conservation of brown murals. They understand and know his work, the materials that he worked with, and, are able to provide us best experience with that. Yeah.
Could I have a motion? This is a action item, so I would actually need to get some approval on this. Does anyone?
I move.
Can I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor of allocating up to $9,912 for the restoration of Garbage Man by artist Greg Brown. We will take a roll call. Commissioner Waltuck,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shen,
Yes.
Commissioner Stern,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner De La Garza,
Yes.
Chair Gordon, yes. Thank you. Approved. And now we're moving on to code art, and we'll hear about what these funds are going to be used for. Thank you.
So the more fun code art item comes later as an informational update. This is a little pedestrian, so I appreciate the roll up, Commissioner Gordon, but this is a recommendation for an allocation of funds for the events team, which supports us in the months leading up to the event, and they are boots on the ground doing street closures and gaffers taping cables down and ADA ramps, and they help with setup and breakdown each day. They source security and rentals, all of that. So we actually had budgeted less for it last year and had to return to the commission to ask for an additional allocation. So that's why it seems a little higher this year, but it's an up to $25,000 for those services. Any questions?
I guess I have a question. In terms of timing, is there a reason why we are approving this right now rather than later in, as it gets closer to the project?
Because special events teams book out typically a year in advance. So this is actually sort of on the edge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments, commissioners? Then I would encourage someone to make a motion, please.
I move that we allocate $25,000 for special events team staffing for code art.
May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Vice Chair Chen,
Yes.
Commissioner Waltuck,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Stern,
Yes.
Commissioner De La Garza,
Yes.
and Chair Gordon, yes. Thank you. Now on to non-action items.
Okay,
Again,
now
code art.
it's a little more fun.
Here we go.
So just to be clear, there are a couple of different elements for code art. So there is a separate discussion about the projection mapping. That's not what we're discussing this evening. That item is scheduled to go on, that contract is scheduled to go on consent to council December 9th, although it may get bumped to the 16th. Tonight, we are talking about the allocation that the commissioners made for the anchor installation at Lytton Plaza and the 4 urban interventions. So with that, let's walk through for the public, right? Code Art launched in 2017. We've pulled off 3 of these. They get bigger and better each year. It's a 3-evening festival reimagining our downtown areas with fun interactive light, sound, and motion. So we performed an open call for media artists to create original site-specific artwork or propose an existing artwork that would be appropriate to the theme of Code Art. We received over 100 submissions, which is the most ever by far. So just a review of some of the impact metrics. So by conservative estimates, we had 13,000 visitors last time. 21 Bay Area national and international artists participated. We had 7 interactive new media art installations. The survey results were incredible and reflect over $500,000 in revenue. The installations and programming for 2025, we are again planning for 3 evenings, October 16th through 18th in downtown Palo Alto, with the main installation on Lytton Plaza, 4 urban interventions, which will be placed in various locations to be determined as we're talking through possibilities with these artists. Of course, the public art tours. In the past, we've done 2 per night. They've been wildly popular and really full, and it's great when the commissioners sign up to do it. And we're also looking forward to having lots of collateral events. So at the retreat, we'll talk in more depth about Code Art, but we also really look to the commissioners to maybe have other ancillary events that take place that sort of fit in with this event. So the selection criteria that was used, artistic excellence, which is going to mean something different for everyone, but does it have a wow factor? Does it move you in some way? Suitability to Code Art. These are projects that are going to be in multiple busy, high impact places, outdoors. Having a night presence is really important. And how successfully will the project spark curiosity and invite interaction and play? So here is our esteemed panel. So Mick Gaspé, who is a Coverly artist. Nate Muller, who did the major installation right out here on the plaza last time, understands what all goes into pulling off something this big and all the logistics of being in Palo Alto and getting it done. Commissioner Waltuck was on that panel. Pamela Walsh, who is a downtown business owner and gallery owner and has always been a very great supporter of Code Art, running power lines out her mailbox for us and all kinds of amazing things. Thank you, Pamela. And Paul Mans, who has participated in previous Code Arts as an urban intervention artist. So the staff did a pre-panel, they did an online panel. And so based on that, we brought 9 Lytton Plaza installation applications for review and 10 urban intervention applications up for review, so we could discuss them more in depth. So here are the recommended artists, and I say recommended because the way this is done is the artists' applications are ranked. So these are the artists that we are working with currently to see if the project is viable, make sure, sometimes an artist puts in an application and then when they really crunch the numbers is not going to be quite feasible for them. So in that case, then we would move to the next one up. All of these artists applied with a pretty good idea of the project, an existing project that they would amend for Palo Alto, with the exception of Shagun Singh. The panel felt like her work examples were so strong and compelling that she would come up with something really great for Palo Alto. And we're feeling good about that. She's working with 2 parallel tracks. So we'll continue to update you as we go. And then I did want to show some eye candy of the artwork that is proposed by Kasauri Computery, which is a group of artists who work together from Poland. And it's a really huge project. So yes, we'll see how we're going to fit this in. So you can see the scale of the project here in some of the work samples. This is a 2023 festival. So there are various inputs and ways that it can be interactive. So for this, for example, there are cameras that capture people's faces and put them up there. There are other modes in which it responds to people's presence and sort of heat mapping. It can also translate data into different patterns. So we'll talk with them about ways in which that might manifest here in Palo Alto. But it definitely, the panel felt like it definitely had the wow factor and a real impactful presence.
Can I add that?
Please do.
Was it Nate? Yeah.
Yes.
He has seen this in person. And so it was super helpful to have people on the panel that were familiar with artists, with the work, with the impact. And so I think that was influential for us in looking at some of these pieces, and this was one of them.
Mm-hmm. And there were quite a few applicants. This wasn't the only one that panelists were acquainted with or had seen the artworks before. So it's always really, this is why we love having artists who are working in that field on the panel, because they can be really insightful. Are there any questions?
I do have a question. So
Yeah.
that is, if we do, the projection mapping is going to be happening behind that? That's in, Lytton Plaza.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You got it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think everyone's gonna think that's cool. So we'll see. We're out there with our measuring tapes on Lytton Plaza, see if it actually fits or if we've got to put it in the parking lot right next to it or what we're gonna do. But it's it'll be pretty great.
It will be a variation of that?
That will be the artwork, but we'll work with him about how it would customize. Like, is it just faces? Is it proximity? How do the lights, you see different configurations there. We've seen it very manicured coming out. We've seen them kind of jumbled. So
Yeah.
did you want to show something, Nadia?
No, I just want to add that like in our early conversations with the artist team, we're kind of mutually very excited, and while we were going to bring it up to them, they brought it up to us that just the artwork has this capacity of including in reading data. So we really want to think about how this artwork may become this like pulse of code art, and just embed that sort of level, like layer of what's happening with the festival, and how the artwork reflects and like responds to that. So really exciting.
But they are also going to use the existing armature. So you saw kind of that scaffolding and the kind of shape, the circular shape, like all of that is going to be reused for this. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they don't have to rebuild that because.
The truss we would rent locally. So, right, so the circular frame and the trussing, you rent locally. The rest of that gets shipped.
Swari Computery, it's KSAW.
Nadia for spelling.
It's Xavery,
Your light's not on.
pardon me, Xavery Computery. It's an artist team from Poland. So you'd spell this KSAWERY, sorry, Xavery Computery with a K. There's a lot of videos of this installation that is like are available on the website. So, and just other projects, they're amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to check that out. And would the artists be in town for this during Code Art?
That's always one of the requirements, that at least someone from the artist team is here to talk to the public and field questions. That's one of the things we hear over and over again in the surveys and the tours, is people like to go on the tours because frequently they're kind of timid to approach the artists themselves, and they really like to hear from the artists. So at least one member of their team will be here.
That's great news. Wow. How fun. Thank you, Commissioner Waltuck, for serving on that panel. It sounds like it with the 100 submissions. Okay, that was a non-action item, so we just learned from that. Thank you so much. Do we have any commissioner questions, comments, or announcements?
I'm sorry, just asking that what you mentioned about commissioners doing projects, sort of side projects during Code Art. What, can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sure. So, for instance, and again, we'll get more into this in January. But for instance, if there was a commissioner who wanted to take the lead on finding a sponsor and a location to do a robotics team show, or do a silent disco, or do, something along those lines to build it out, or some sort of artist panel or talk. So it could take a lot of forms. And so that's why the retreat's a great opportunity for us to brainstorm that. But staff is so, we're trying to pull off what we have on our plate, but there's so many great opportunities for partnerships with other local organizations and downtown partners to add, right? It could be a lighted bike parade. It could be like.
Has
it
there been
could be a
something
lot
done
of
in the
things.
past?
The first year we worked with Institute for the Future and had a really great talk with representatives from Stanford and artists talking about imagining the future and how the arts can reimagine the future. And that was before the kickoff. That was kind of the main one that we've done. Nadia, can you think of another one?
Yeah, we also partnered with downtown galleries. They did artist talks and special events,
right.
sort of in concert, with Code Art. Of course, the public tours, public Palo Alto libraries have been a great partner through all of the events, and they always do like a special, program and book display and just resources available, like relevant to Code Art. But like Elise mentioned, there's so many great opportunities. Also, we did this little pilot. A couple of downtown businesses offered special Code Art experiences that they're able to, like sell to the patrons. So we really try to engage local businesses, bring more foot traffic into the doors. This event is not just fun, it's also a really great community building and, local economy supporting, enterprise. So we're open to all and any suggestions. Yeah.
That's
That's great. Well, thank you, everyone. This is an exciting meeting, and our next meeting is December. What is the date on that? Does anyone have that handy so we can all remember? Yikes. The
Should be December 19th.
19th. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you then. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.